Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Christian and I work as a portfolio specialist in the investment management team, and I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of this week's market summary. All attention last week was on the Fed minutes after Jay Powell, the Fed chairman, said last month that the Fed would be patient on the timing of future interest rate adjustments. This statement was a big U-turn from December when he said that some further gradual increases were needed. Consequently, we were hoping that the minutes from the monetary policy meeting would help explain what has changed and indicate the level of consensus among committee members, but while in general the minutes were dovish, we were disappointed that they weren't more so. Fed policymakers noted that the US economy is performing well, but also that uncertainties surrounding China and Europe had increased and that financial conditions had tightened. So while the Fed has clearly hit the snooze button and put interest rate increases on hold, disappointingly there was no suggestion of them cutting interest rates, as the debate was focused on whether further interest rate increases were needed or not, rather than whether to cut interest rates. Consequently, it is possible we may now have a repeat of 2016, when we had a long pause followed by further interest rate increases. However, we did learn that the Fed wants to end the shrinking of its balance sheet by the end of the year, a process called quantitative tightening. And that confirmation is positive, as we have recently been worried that their QT programme is starting to hurt the economy. Elsewhere, minutes of the ECB's monetary policy meeting indicated that policymakers are finally accepting that the Eurozone economy is slowing down. As such, policymakers will use their March meeting to decide if the economic weakness is sufficient enough to restart its targeted longer-term refinancing operation programme. In the UK, the direction of the pound continues to be determined by Brexit, and this week the pound strengthened as Theresa May plans to meet EU leader Donald Tusk at the EU Arab Summit in an attempt to secure an acceptable Brexit deal. But what is good for the pound is bad for the FTSE 100, as it lowers returns for exporters and the value of overseas earnings, hence why the FTSE 100 ended the week 0.8% lower. Now that's all from me this week, and don't forget, if you haven't already, you can also read a more detailed insight into matters affecting the markets in the email.